Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the pretty motherfucker without the pretty, aka the lazy eyed Leviathan, aka the 100, no, the 200 time social distancing champion, aka the nigga lip master. That gets me every time. I don't know why. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites, episode 78 to be exact. Today's date is October 22nd, 2020. The world is still horrible. I mean, if you need a reminder, I know a lot of us don't, since we have the current consistent repeated reminder of being somewhat locked down in our homes, more or less. So it is what it is, as it always has been, I guess. Either way, Switches Sites is my gaming podcast where I talk about just that, for those that may not know. Yeah, so I feel like there was something I was going to talk about before I kicked off the show, but I cannot remember. Oh yeah. As you guys may have noticed, starting the show, Jesus, this corona, oh my god. The corona is in full effect. I've been affected. Yeah, so what you guys may have noticed, at least specifically, I guess maybe for the very few of you that maybe just watch my podcast directly on Twitch or YouTube, possibly. But which is kind of a shame that I'm actually putting my mixer to use, which I've I've somewhat created a lot more work for myself than I needed to when I had the full capabilities for like so long now. But either way, what at least podcast people would hear on my podcast in terms of like intro, outro music and stuff. Now I got it. I'm at least setting it up or trying it out now to have it do it on the fly. So at least that's less post work I have to do. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, any feedback's appreciated if, it's horrible, but at least from what I tested before starting a podcast, it seems like that's probably the better option, just to make things more streamlined and give Twitch people as well as YouTube people the same experience experience that everybody else, mainly podcast people, get. So there you go, little curtain behind the inner workings, if you will. The who was the dude from the Wizard of Oz? Was it actually the wizard? The guy in the back that's just pumping the pumping the brakes and pulling the chains. I don't know. You get what I'm saying. All these analogies I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make it make sense, but it already makes sense. So I'm just trying to make more sense of what sense is already being made. So I guess. I don't know. I hope you know. I don't know. I'm not sure how I got there, but you know what? I got there. All right. It's not about the journey. It's about the destination. Wow. No, I don't think that's actually it. No, I think it's the other way around. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. But in this case, it is actually about the destination because the ends justify the means. If you pick up what I'm putting down, which I'm pretty sure you should. Sorry to be aggressive, but I'm just saying. Okay. um, uh, either way, a lot of interesting tidbits came out this week. A lot of little snippets, if you will, of news that I think all accumulatively will make for a pretty interesting show today. So without further ado, let's stop the dilly dallying and get right into it. So, first topic of discussion, man, and this may be a little bit personal in terms of stake I had in this story, but it's good to see it actually turn around either way. So, a little bit of backstory. Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, for those that may not know, is pretty much a premium premium controller. I guess, for the hardest of core. I don't know, but basically fairly expensive controller for controller standards in terms of, the build quality and all that. So um, odds are, if you bought one, maybe within 2-3 months, even maybe shorter or later, you more than likely ran into some issues with it, which was pretty much a multitude of issues. Um, at least personally, in my scenario, I ran into the issue where a lot of the buttons are pretty much basically unresponsive for the most part, where it's like a it's like a game in of itself. Like a 60% chance the controller would actually respond with the to the button presses, and that pretty much accounts for mainly the face buttons and the bumpers. At least what I had an issue with the most personally in my scenario. Also ran into issue with the controller just randomly whenever it feels like it just desyncing. So pretty much whenever the controller feels like it's like, you know what? I don't think I want to connect to the Xbox anymore. It just straight up disconnects. And then you have to literally like it takes what feels like a minute, maybe like 30 to 45 seconds to basically reconnect it. So, in the midst of a pretty intense game of Call of Duty, you can imagine the immense frustration that would kind of arise from that. So, yeah, yeah, just just infuriating, to be honest. To its, I mean, very minimal credit, it doesn't happen like, well, I mean, that's the thing in of itself, because it seems like it's very inconsistent. Like sometimes it won't rarely happen, other times it'll be like super consistent. Rebooting the Xbox helped for me, but it still would come back eventually one way or another, which, I mean, I didn't have the issue with the Series 1, so I'm pretty sure, I feel like the controller itself is to blame to some extent. I think maybe it could be that maybe the controller is connecting via Bluetooth over RF, which I think is the original controller, how it connected to the Xbox One X. Hard to say, but considering it has that capability like the other new current generation Xbox One controllers that have the Bluetooth connectivity, I'm guessing that might be a factor. I don't know, but either way, um, what was another thing? Well, yeah, that was mainly it. Mainly for me, the bumpers and the face buttons were a big issue. Yeah, it was like roughly 50, 60% chance that it would actually register or with the bumpers specifically, it would actually double register at times. So it would basically, duplicate an input twice. So like, let's say you're at the menu of the Xbox, you're navigating, and you hit the right bumper once, it'll actually register as twice. So especially since mainly I've been playing Call of Duty with it, so a lot of these issues are very, very apparent with it. But yeah, so you're trying to use your equipment, and then you end up just throwing a grenade, or you end up just using a stem, and horrible. I I still can't believe the tolerance in me, uh, tolerance and patience in me. Just like, you know what, I'm just gonna take it in stride and deal with it. Um, Either way, so that's the backstory. I think that's generally the gist of what most people encountered. With a lot of other various issues. I think I heard of thumbstick dead zone issues where basically um the controller stick, where basically the controller would recenter to kind of re I guess more or less calibrate, or reorient itself in terms of controls. And when it's out of whack, then it just causes all type of various issues in terms of accuracy, and yeah, mainly accuracy overall, just overall unpleasant experience. A lot of people in the reset era thread I'm in as well, all of us just just in a miserable party of just misery and torment, and just 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 agony because it's annoying. It's just annoying more. It's annoying more than anything, especially because it's like you're kind of in this boat where it's like you want it's kind of like back in the day when you're younger, and you like gambled on a game that you thought would be really great, and then it did it ended up not being that great. So it's I feel like it should be some term for it, but basically and mentally in your head you try to justify like this is actually pretty good, even though deep down inside it's fucking horrible, and you're just trying to justify it just to just to validate that you made a right decision in this purchase. Which is basically what happened. So it's like you just don't want, you paid a good amount for this controller, damn near $200, and it to not actually perform, you know, is pretty frustrating. And then, of course, with Microsoft's warranty with this controller is 90 days. 90 days for a $200 controller. Yeah. I ranted about it a little bit on Twitter, but either way, thankfully, Microsoft extended the warranty now to 1 year, which should have been the standard in the first place. But either way, I digress. Um, Also, a lot of people actually piled it together to make like a file a lawsuit against Microsoft because of these pretty huge issues that a lot of people that purchased the controller actually got. It wasn't a very small amount, it was actually a lot of people. At first, the controller was fine for me, it felt like, but then, like, I want to say 3, 4 months after I bought it, a while, this was a long time ago, but it then started, getting these issues, which is just unacceptable, really. So, good to see that Microsoft actually turned around on this and, are doing good. Shut up, Alexa. Nobody action. Alexa, be quiet. Be quiet. Stop. Just gotta tell these girls sometimes because they be wildin'. They be wildin'. So yeah, so I mean, I went through the whole warranty process. Actually got my return label, boy, with the quickness, man, with the quickness. I went to the UPS store so fast, just lightning fast, you know. Um, so yeah. So for any people out there, I guess maybe that may not be aware, I assume if you if you have this controller, more than likely you are aware because of how horrible the quality control for this controller was, which is horrible. Just it's the like just the utter irony of this, such a premium product, and like the quality is just atrocious for something so premium, but like technically a standard controller is in better shape than something you pay like three times, four times, even more. So uh, good on Microsoft for doing what they should have done in the first place. And it was kind of frustrating, to be honest, that the fact that they um didn't even acknowledge this whole issue that's literally been going on for like a whole year now, almost, since this thing launched. So either way, good to know now. Such a relief, because I was on the verge, man. I was like, I'm about to throw this damn throw this damn controller across the damn room. But either way, uh elite controller owners rejoice. We have we now have peace. Um Moving on. I'm sorry. I had a personal stake in that. So I cue the Michael Jordan meme. I took that personally. So um yeah. Keeping in line with Xbox news, but in a more positive note. Xbox revealed that Xbox One media remotes will actually be backwards compatible or forward compatible with Xbox Series X and X. So it it didn't look like it at first, but in comparison to Xbox One, it has a pretty obvious IR port on it. It looks like on the Xbox Series X, they revealed that the IR port is actually directly behind the sync button, which is some pretty creative ingenuity, if you ask me. But I was actually worried as a personal Logitech Harmony user, which for those that may not know is the best thing, next best thing since sliced bread in terms of automation. If you have like a lot of electronics and a lot of remote controls generally, I mean, yeah, let me put you on game real quick about the Logitech Harmony real quick. I mean, I'm not sponsored by Logitech, but I mean Logitech, if you want to, talk to your boy, I mean, you just hit up my email, aswitchtv@gmail.com. But Logitech Harmony, pretty dope software. It takes a little bit of work to get it, fully optimized to how you want it, but when it's fully realized, it is a fucking godsend, let me tell you, all right? Can literally you can set up devices, set up activities. So activities basically, let's say you want to do a specific scenario, like let's say I want to play PS4. I can tell my Logic Harmony play PS4. It'll turn on all of the corresponding devices that you tell it to. So like let's say, TV, receiver, um I don't know, anything else that you can control via IR, you can do that, and it is fucking fantastic. Also, mind you, you can control it with Alexa. I'm sorry. Okay, she didn't act up that time. So it does have that functionality as well. So you can just do straight up voice commands, and man, I, after I got it, this was like years ago, but after I got it, I was like, how did I ever function without this? It also works with the Frame Meister as well. Man, it just the support for it, it's pretty fantastic. If if you have a lot of if you have a lot of electronics and you're like an enthusiast like me, it's pretty great. I would assume most people that are like very like into tech and stuff probably have one already, but either way, worth mentioning for people that are, have a lot of electronics and you know, want them streamlined and all work in unison, what have you. So but yeah, so in turn, this in theory should work with the Logitech Harmony, which is going to be freaking great. So, um, my Logitech Harmony is very thankful that glory be praised IR functionality, which is cool because I at least in forward thinking set up like my spaces already for the next gen consoles, and also had, I'm such a fucking nerd, man. I'm sorry. I'm like cognizant of it, but I just gotta just spit this out, man. But um have the IRs placed in advance in the ideal case, which at least in this case, thankfully it was validated. So um feels great, man. Feels good. Um yeah, so for those it's probably a very minute like remote or very niche set of people that like we're craving for this IR functionality. But luckily I was one of them, and I'm like, thank God. I'm probably speaking to maybe like probably the 1% of y'all, but hey, for the 1% of y'all, I got you. All right. I got you. Looking out. All right. Have no fear. IR stays here. Okay. So there you go. I didn't think about it at first, but after the fact now, just thinking about it, I was like, yeah, this is fucking niche as hell. Most people don't even care about this. But you know what? That's the reason this podcast. This is straight up nerd stuff. Uh, with likely nerded people. Okay, so all right. Hey, embrace your niches. All right, you heard it from me. And I'm one of the most credible people when it comes to niches. Actually, that actually is pretty true. I was half joking, but now it's like the more I think about it, that's actually kind of true. Either way, keeping in line with the entertainment aspect, PS5 also revealed like their compatibility with some of their entertainment apps. So they did confirm that Apple TV, Disney Plus, Netflix, Spotify, Twitch, YouTube will all be available day one when the PS5 drops in people's homes. They also, after that, confirmed that Crunchyroll and a couple other apps, Amazon Prime, Mechano, I have no clue what that is, Hulu, Peacock, and more asterisk will be compatible also. So pretty cool. That's definitely way more support than Nintendo Switch has, which is kind of crazy. Like literally YouTube, I think YouTube and Hulu are the only apps on the Switch, which is weird. It's like been 3 years since that boy launched, and you think like at least Netflix. It's kind of crazy. But either way, um, but I guess my biggest question, I guess, kind of piggybacking off the last topic, but um, they show the PS remote, but it's kind of unclear how it connects. I would assume it's Bluetooth or maybe a proprietary connection similar to the controller, but I hope we get better functionality than the PS4. I was ranting a little bit about this on Twitter, but I really hope we get better functionality on PS5 specifically for Logitech Harmony. The 1% of us, I hope we get some better support. I mean, there's some workarounds for the PS4, but it didn't feel 100%. So like with the Harmony specifically, you technically could connect it via Bluetooth, which the Harmony supports, but it's very laggy. Yeah, very laggy in terms of response. And you can actually turn off the PS4 with the Harmony remote, which you can do for Xbox and other consoles and stuff. So I feel like it kind of more or less kind of hurt the whole purpose of it. But hopefully PS5 will have it. You could get like I did end up getting like a it's an add-on for the PS4 to kind of give you better harmony support, but still not 100% because it still doesn't let you fully turn off the PS4 because I guess some regulation or something that Sony deemed that they don't want stuff turning their stuff off. I don't know, but I think it was something like that. But either way, I don't know, man. Would be great though. Hopefully, come on PS5. Still holding out hope, but still good to know that we have a lot of support off the bat. Where generally I think even PS4 like they launched and like it had very limited support of like entertainment apps um off the bat. It like slowly trickled in months after. So good to know. Good to know. Moving on. Switching gears back. That would have been a great segue. You know what? I'm gonna make it work. Switching gears back to Xbox. Gears of War. They actually revealed that Gears 5 will have significantly reduced input latency by 36% campaign and 57% versus on Series X. Which is freaking crazy. I'm kind of curious how they do it. They don't necessarily explicitly state how, but I guess it's pretty safe to say because of the increased frame per second for the Series X, which Gears 5 will support increased FPS up to 120 FPS, which I think just in turn when you have a faster frames per second, obviously the latency goes down because you're getting more information per second in terms of frames and data. So also love that the LG OLED is being used, which actually a TV I have. So good to know. Good to know. At least in terms of testing. Um, yeah, man, it's pretty good. As a Gears fan, I am ecstatic. I've been kind of slipping on Gears lately. Well, for ever since it came out, um, since Call of Duty is really demanding my attention more so than Gears, unfortunately. And Gears hasn't really sold me. Um, at least what I've always played, I've had a good time, but not enough to the point where I'm like, man, I really need to. I want to keep playing. That kind of that good hook, if you will. Surprisingly Gears 4 did for a good while, which feel like that Gears 4 is kind of divisive for some people, but for me personally, I thoroughly enjoyed the hell out of it. So Um, Pretty interesting. One question which I don't think has necessarily been answered with this is like, how is the um advantage? Like, will the consoles be segmented? So, like, will Xbox One be within their own family and Series X will be within their own family? Because I feel like that's gonna be a pretty big advantage over somebody playing on the One X. Um but I mean, I guess they kind of essentially do the same thing on PC with PC. Like, I guess for me, for example, I have a 60 FPS monitor, and I know like Counter Strike and stuff. People have like what 330 FPS monitors that are coming out now, so I guess it's not that big a deal. But I mean, it's you might be able to hold your own, but I feel like that's still like a severe competitive advantage to some extent. Maybe you can filter. Maybe they'll let you filter like Xbox One can only play within their family, like kind of similar to crossplay where you have the option to opt out if you want to. Which yeah, I think that would be best, but we'll see. Hyped baby. It's good. It's good. It's great. So I guess Xbox is not lying about this further, I guess, reduced latency. I thought it was only specifically to their new controllers, but I guess it applies to just the console itself, which is good as somebody who has the sucky Elite Series 2 controller. So, because I don't want to part with my Series 2 controller because I love the back pedals. I'm so used to and accustomed to it now that it's like way more streamlined, way more easy to use. So it's good I don't have to part with it and wait for next generation and, you know, have the peasantry of not ugh non pedal controller. Ugh. Let me get off my elite pedal, right? Elite pedal pedestal. I'm not a rapper though. Keeping that Xbox Series X good feel train going. Chew, I can't. Chew, chew. No, that's not it. Chew, chew. I'm sorry, gotta do something. Chew, chew. I'm sorry, I'm dumb. All right. um, oh man, that threw me off. That threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. Halo Master Chief Collection. Also with them good ass details. So they revealed that fully optimized support for Xbox Series S and X. I might as well just call it Sex, really. Xbox Series X. 120 FPS, 120 FPS campaign and multiplayer, split screen improvements, up to 4K on Series X. Available free for those with Game Pass on November 17th. I mean, it should be a given that, Xbox's exclusives they're going to support for the Series X sex. Um, but it's good to just get that confirmation, you know. So as somebody who I'm in such a weird predicament, but like it's like I have the convenience and ability of PC, but I generally find myself for certain games to play on console over PC, which in this case, I mean, even though Master Chief Collection is on PC, I just find myself still preferably playing on console. And this just only sweetens the deal. 120 FPS on a console? Yes. Please. Thank you. Please, sir, may I have some more? I mean, ugh. So, cannot wait to play multiplayer. Some good old Halo 2 action. Maybe a little bit of that remastered Halo 2 action. Halo 4. Oh, that reminds me. I got invited to the flighting for Halo 4. I'm gonna have to play that too. But yeah, man. It feels good. It feels good. Um, this is definitely where I feel like the Series X is definitely making up for its lack of um, you know, exclusive titles by, this immense improvement of backwards compatible titles with all these, increased support for these games as well as the auto HDR stuff that I've been looking into, like with Digital Foundry did a really good piece on it where they really went in depth with um backwards compatibility with the auto HDR stuff, which is crazy. Literally, games that weren't HDR compatible, they could basically make them HDR compatible now, and the benefits are pretty notable, which is pretty dope. So gotta give it to Xbox with this support with backwards compatible titles that just making this damn box sweeter. I just want to lick this box right now because it's so sweet. Jesus. All right. Enough of this Xbox fanboyism. Moving on. AOC, aka Alexandria Asasio Cortez. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. She had a very random, unexpected arc this week where she put the feelers out where she was like, hey, kind of want to stream some Among Us. The game looks pretty fun. Would anybody be interested in streaming with me? And then like all these big ass streamers like Pokimane, I think Dr. Lupo, a lot of other various other people. Like, yes, yeah, I would. And man, freaking crazy. So, pretty much shortly after that, she created her Twitch channel. And then, like, I think, like, literally within 48 hours, 36 hours, she, like, freaking already now, I think it's probably crazy now, but she instantly got like 40K followers. And then on top of that, she had like I think like currently she's sitting at like 200K followers right now, which is crazy. And then she did the stream with pretty much a lot of the big Twitch people playing Among Us, of course. And I think it's technically ended up being like the second highest Twitch stream of concurrent viewers. Um I think behind like the Drake Ninja stream. And I think behind Shroud coming back stream, which is crazy. Um but the main I guess goal for this was to encourage people to vote who haven't registered to vote and stuff like that. So definitely a great cause in terms of encouraging people to vote, which is pretty great. You love to see it. I didn't get a chance to drop it on stream, but I'm very very curious to see what the Twitch community was like, what the chat was like in that stream in particular. Just um just seems like, well, I would assume maybe would stray too far from the general typical Twitch chat, but it's very fascinating. I saw caught some of the highlights and stuff, which is pretty cool, but pretty crazy story. And in terms of like kind of the um feel like this potentially will, you know, be somewhat of a um I don't know, what do you call it? Catharsis, cathartic catalyst for, you know, a lot of more political people maybe trying to do Twitch to try to, you know, appeal to the younger demographic, if you will. Which honestly, not actually a bad angle. Um actually is pretty just imagine fucking Joe Biden fucking playing I guess Among Us would be the most realistic, but fucking Joe Biden playing Call of Duty or something. That'd be kind of funny. But pretty cool, interesting. Like what the hell out of nowhere, you know, scenario that straight up happened. Actually, let me check her Twitch right now, see like where she's at. Jesus, that's a little creepy, but 666,000 followers. Craziness. That's currently where she's at now. Within a week, within this week alone, she like created her Twitch channel, blew up. Now she's at like 666K followers. It's crazy. Cool stuff. Moving on. Ubisoft, Ubisoft, announced what is it called? Ubisoft Connect. So from what they are prepping this up to be, basically this is straight up, more or less an announcement of crossplay for every Ubisoft game going forward. So they did announce the initial games would be Valhalla and Immortals. So pretty much any new game coming out from here on out will for sure be Ubisoft Connect supported. So basically, at least the biggest takeaway for me personally is cross progression. Which, you know, obviously pretty much you could which opens a lot of possibilities, really. So let's say, I mean, this is my ideal dream personally, but let's say For Honor, which I've actually, you know, put a lot of time in on PS4, but I actually want to dip into PC, but I don't feel like, you know, grinding all over again in progress. And pretty much now, I could basically now play on PC and all my progress will carry over to PC and pretty much in the same essence as Call of Duty, where, you know, regardless whatever platform you're playing, your progress that you've made will carry over for whatever per respective platform you go on, as well as Fortnite and stuff like that. So I know they said 4 titles like that, like For Honor and stuff. I don't think they explicitly stated For Honor, but they said those games will take I think 2 months after this launches or something like that, that they will add those to be supported. Let me double check that just to be sure. But I think they said something like that. Yeah, several back catalog games are no longer patched, so you may find in-game references, blah 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 blah. Live games will transition to the full Connect experience over a 2-month period after launch with the new loyalty system and full game integration. So I think that pretty much semi confirms that like titles like Rainbow Six Siege and For Honor will eventually be Ubisoft Connect supported, especially specifically For Honor, considering they, I think a couple episodes back, a couple weeks ago, they confirmed backwards compatibility um, or PS5 upgrades or next gen upgrades in general. So I would assume that there will be some cross progression implementation at some point, as well as cross play, because that will be a perfect game to have cross play on. You know, with the caveat of the increased frames per second, maybe you might need to segment PC for console, but maybe um, PS4 and PS5, and pretty much everybody in that family might be fine. But even for Stadia, this actually would kind of maybe possibly might make Stadia look a little bit more appealing. Where maybe I might wanna maybe mess with Stadia more now, and play games now that there isn't any kind of pain of having to worry about progression and like having to start over, where maybe you're not home or traveling and you want to mess with Stadia, but that progress will carry over to your console when you get back home or something like that. that that definitely opens up a lot of possibilities, and also opens up the kind of I guess frustration where I feel like personally, as somebody who does own multiple consoles, that it should have been implemented a long time ago. But technology, blah blah blah, whatever. Other various competing console companies, whatever. But man, this should have been implemented a long time ago. But either way, um, better late than never. But never late is better. Drake, you know. I wrote that for Drake just in case y'all didn't know. So it's only mine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can trust me. I'm sorry. Um Overall cool. But crossplay is pretty dope too. Um really hoping For Honor has some great implementation of this though. I'm pretty certain it will, since that's definitely prepping up to be a service game, as it's been shown already, especially the announcement of it being moved to the next generation also. So pretty confident in that. That's gonna be so great. So now I really actually might play it on PC, considering the increased frame rate and stuff like that. So it's the biggest thing that was keeping me from playing on PC actually. So cool stuff. Moving on. Kind of disappointing news. Um, Sad to say, but it's been confirmed that PT has is not won't be backwards compatible with PS5. I am profusely blinking if you're viewing the video version of this, because apparently somebody did some sleuthing on the PlayStation website. It was via Reset Era thread, where basically they were doing it's just some straight up nerd stuff, and I love to see it. I love it so much. They were basically manipulating the API, which is it's just that good nerdy stuff you love to see. Basically they're messing with the website API, where I guess apparently it can determine if a game is backwards compatible with the PS5. Since they used a game like, at least in their example, they used Hitman Go, and which is one of the confirmed backwards compatible, one of the 10 confirmed backwards compatible, non backwards compatible titles. and when he pulled it, it returned as not compatible. But when he used it with PT, it did pull that it is compatible. So what that generally means that, like you currently can already anyway, you can't download it from the store or use it from the store. But if you already have it, like I do, on your current PS5 4, you can, in theory, going off of what this guy uncovered, in theory, potentially copy it from, um do the system transfer from your PS4 to the PS5, or copy it from your hard drive, external hard drive, and plug it into the PS5, and maybe in theory copy it internally if you want it ingrained forever or something like that. And it technically, in theory, should work. So I feel like that's what a lot of us were suspecting, that obviously PlayStation wouldn't like promote it because it's officially not um the list officially delisted, more or less. But if you could work around it, you could more than likely get it to play on PS5. So I don't know. That kind of makes me kind of weary about transferring my PS4, because they did PlayStation did confirm that you can actually do a system transfer, which basically is the same thing as the PS4 system transfer, where you could just directly copy all your data to another PlayStation 4, but it would erase all the data on the PlayStation 4 you transfer the data from. So hopefully it doesn't do that. I'm probably gonna just have a new PS5 from scratch and not copy any data over, and just re-download everything, um, and then go that route, and then maybe see see the see have somebody else take that risk and get confirmation if it does. But either way, more than likely, I would assume the PT still lives on. Yes, PT still lives for, I guess the few people that care. I don't know. PT is a great game, though. A great demo, whatever. It's a great experience, regardless. It's a great experience. Moving on. Out of nowhere, Nintendo with these just invisible, just nuclear bombs just dropping. Today, actually, Nintendo of America, they just straight up just dropped Fire Emblem, the first Fire Emblem for Nintendo Switch. Basically, they localized it, because I guess the original Fire Emblem was Japanese only, Japan only, wasn't available in the States. But now they are releasing it fully localized for the first time. It'll be available December 4th. They also have a pretty damn dope 30th anniversary edition that is pretty great. As a Fire Emblem fan, looking really good. Looking really, really good. Good luck getting one though, but looking really good. $6, I think. I think you can pre-order now. But I don't know, man. With this this is again with the BS that Nintendo's doing with this freaking timed Nintendo or Disney Vault mess, where this is only going to be available for a limited time. So pretty dumb. Pretty dumb. So I forgot what they said the cutoff date is, but basically, essentially, is going to be available for a limited time before they cut it off. Kind of like, basically, like Mario 3D Collection or Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario 3D All Stars, where they will stop selling it at a determined date just because they want to add novelty and urgency of buying it. So pretty sucky, but one good thing about this is that it does potentially set a precedent that we might actually get Mother 3 to be localized, fully localized, which is pretty dope. Did they no, I don't think. Yeah, Mother 3. Yeah, that's been like it's like the Half-Life 3 for Nintendo basically, where people been craving it, wanting it, fiending for it, but Nintendo like not yet, not yet. So we shall see. We shall see. Um, moving on. Mortal Kombat. They dropped that Rambo trailer, and it's like I say it like I'm the biggest Rambo fan. I'm actually not. I've barely watched any movies. I think the only one I watched was I think the last one. I think the last one that came out, Rambo 4, I believe. But either way, um, it's just pretty. I think I'm really impressed by the novelty of it, more or less. The kind of Smash Brothers appeal, where it's like, what? This is like an unexpected character, and it's in there, But gameplay wise, he does look pretty dope. As somebody who doesn't really play Mortal Kombat 11 like that, look pretty dope. Actually, to the point where I feel like I might want to play a little bit now, get back into playing it now because of Rambo. Um, yeah, yeah. I still have to give credit to NetherRealm, man. Um, just the impressive roster of characters. I want to say I said it before, but this is like I'd say pretty much behind Smash Ultimate in terms of just a pretty great character roster of guest characters. Maybe not Ash from Evil Dead, but probably up there, So pretty dope. His fatality was vicious too. Just he ripping throats. How you rip somebody's throat out? He just ripped his throat out. He can't talk. He can't talk anymore. But I mean, he's dead. But I mean, he can't talk anymore. But he's dead. But uh, either way, I thought it was cool. I thought it was worth mentioning. Either way, moving on. Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, you forgot about that game, didn't you? I sure as hell did. Well, kinda. It's been in the it's been in the back of my head a lot, but um, cause it's been looming for me to play the hard mode. I think that's the only achievement I have left. But I was kind of now that the PS5 we got confirmed backwards compatibility. I'm probably just gonna wait until PS5 and replay it that way just to get a concept of maybe we might get a next gen patch or support um boost. So, but yeah, so they straight up uh what man like damn near 8 months later they actually revealed their first patch or released their first patch, which is a pretty significant update in terms of just performance. Nothing necessarily, I guess, content wise substantial, but various bug fixes, performance fixes, frame rate issues, and stuff like that. So, coincidentally, weirdly enough, just in time for PS5. So, a lot of people were suspecting that maybe PS5 upgrades were in there or whatever, but apparently that it was not the case. Wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see it maybe a while after the PS5's out or something like that. Would be cool. But Yeah, pretty much since this dropped, it hasn't received any patch notes, which is kind of crazy. I mean, personally, I never had any major issues with the game when I played when it dropped, but some of you that may have, your answers are potentially answered. I don't know. Cool stuff though. Moving on. Man, some very controversial stuff. Um 2K. Um just shady. So pretty much what I think was a problem before with 2K, I think it was like a patch after, but they basically um they straight up uh put unskippable ads in the damn game. It's crazy. So I guess the what makes it even more weird is that they this was apparently an update after the game released and people already reviewed the game, that shortly after people noticed that they're getting unskippable ads. I think during startup of the game or something like that, which is very just not cool. It's like, mind you, this is a game people paid 60 to 70 bucks for. Um, that they're getting get well, damn, even 90. I think if you get the one edition, I think that's messed up. It's like people pay to not even get ads, and you pay for a fully fledged game, and you're getting ads. How does that work? So yeah, apparently they released a statement. Uh, as many are aware, in recent years, ads have been integrated into 2K segments, 2K TV segments. Yesterday's 2K TV ad placement impacted our players' experience in a way we didn't intend, as these ads are not meant to run as part of the pre-game introduction. This will be fixed in future episodes. Thanks for your continued feedback. About that 2K, I don't know. 2K, you got some explaining to do. Because it's one thing if this was the first time, which still even be suspect, but the fact that I'm pretty sure this happened before in a previous game, for it to happen again is kind of sus. Kind of sus. Vote 2K off right now. Vote them off. Either way, here's what it is. I mean, I'm saying it as as if I play this game, which I don't. But you know, I would be kind of pissed if I did. Pay for this game and got an ad that's unskippable. On top of that, not even consider that shouldn't even be watching that in the first place. But I digress. Worth mentioning. And in video game movie related news, we actually got a first look of Tom Holland as Nathan Drake in the upcoming Uncharted movie. Um, Looks pretty good. I mean, he's a bit young, but I guess that's from what they're saying that yeah, that's the angle they're doing now, that Nathan is gonna be younger in this movie, and that's what they're fully aware of, that they're Nathan Drake is gonna be younger in general. So kind of weird, but I mean, looks good. I mean, looks like he fits in the role. I mean, got the famous holster and the famous was it the Sir Fernand ring? I'm totally probably butchering that, but the legendary ring necklace. I mean, he's looking the part, but I mean, it's just a picture. It can only go so far. I know they also showed Nolan North, who's the voice of the video game counterpart of Nathan Drake. It's pretty dope to kind of I think they invited him and gave him, maybe went back and forth with Tom Holland, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool overall. I mean, we'll see. Cautious cautious optimism. But yeah, I will say it definitely does look better than I was envisioning it. Now seeing it fully realized. The potential is there at least. Will it actually deliver? That's yet to be known. But from what it is, it looks pretty cool. So, and that about does it for all the news for this week. So let's get into what I've been playing. Da 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 da. I guess first, still thankful. RTX 3090. I somewhat got a chance to run it through its paces the past weekend, but ran into a few snags. The first aspect was that um, basically there's an issue with LG C9, C10s, and the RTX 30 series cards where basically um, GeForce doesn't work currently with the current updates or current firmware. So LG has to drop another firmware update in order to fix that. Because basically the issue is, at least what I've been commemorating with some other folks in a Reset Era thread, was that the you can't do you basically just doesn't work with 120 FPS, HDR and G-Sync, but G-Sync is the main issue. Technically, in theory, it should be able to work without G-Sync if you turn it off. But I've been having issues with that. I know more than likely it's the cable, which that's a whole nother thing where basically, you know, considering this is the cutting edge now, that like this card is the first HDMI 2.1 device to be released, that it's kind of tough finding an actual HDMI 2.1 cable that works as it should. At least that's the issue I ran into. I got this one HDMI 2.1 cable from Amazon, a Zest kit, like a 15-foot cable, and it seemed to have a lot of issues. Um, this was before I knew about the G-Sync issue, so it was like flickering, signal cutting in and out, things like that. So I turned it off, and I still was running into the issue, and also it wasn't showing that I can go to 120 FPS as well. So, um, part of me, so I was thinking it had to be the cable itself. So, just got a replacement cable today, a shorter one. See if that actually works. Cause that's one thing I learned the hard as hell way about these new like HDMI standards. Like, went through a hard ass time with a HDMI 2.0B with the HDMI the HDR standard one now, where could not get it to work, flickering and stuff. And I was like, I don't know, I just the insanity in me would just kept trying other stuff but not really factoring in the fact that it could actually be the cable itself, which lo and behold that ended up what it was being. So but also in turn with that, there is the fact that there hasn't technically, at least currently, I'm pretty certain, hasn't been an official HDMI 2.1 certified cable. And what that means is that the HDMI um, what do you call it? HDMI company, official HDMI company, more or less, hasn't officially certified an HDMI 2.1 cable, which basically means it tests the cable out to make sure it passes all the checks that HDMI 2.1 has in order to meet its standards to verify that it's a verified HDMI 2.1 cable. So that's been fun, more or less. But yeah. So I mean, outside of that, I used a HDMI 2.0 cable for the time being, since I think in theory you should at least get 4K 60 HDMI just without the G Sync. But I was having issues with that too, so I'm not sure. I'm hoping it's just the cable that I was using. So gonna test with this new cable I got today, see how it fares, and fully put this bad boy through his paces. But at least the biggest game or the longest game I tested it out with, um, considering the handicap, not actually being able to use it at its full potential. The Cold War beta, which dropped last weekend. Well, the beta initially came out for PS4 exclusively, but now this other past weekend, it also came out for PC and Xbox as well this round. And man, it does it, at least from the 4K 60 standpoint, that boy delivers. Putting this boy through ultra max settings, that boy did not even flinch. You know what I'm saying? That boy didn't even whimper. Didn't even whimper. So it's been pretty great. Playing some games. I still feel weird playing Call of Duty on a mouse and keyboard. It's just something about it just feels weird to me. Like some other first person shooters like Counter Strike and stuff. Like, okay, obviously, yeah, mouse and keyboard, but I think maybe just the long periods of time, well, just the history of playing Call of Duty on console, and that generally being the standard, has always stuck with me personally. So it just felt weird playing it on mouse and keyboard. So after like a couple matches, maybe five or so, I ultimately resorted to just going a controller, which felt way more better, natural. Um, but all in all, man, feels great, feels good. Um, well, man, I have to say, I feel like they improved the game even more from the last beta from the PS4 exclusive weekend. On top of that, because this game felt way more tighter, way more just fun. Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. Like, I really feel like I can literally play, at the very least, for sure, at least prestige or whatever their quantifiable, I guess, measurement of rank is. I could definitely see myself playing it all the way through. The maps were pretty good. Really love what was the one? Damn it, I forgot the names, but the it really looks like a slave plantation, to be honest. Slave plantation one. Um I think it's not called Block, but the one I think set in Russia. That was a pretty good one. Miami was more meh. I could play it, but if I had a preference, I may generally vote to skip. If I haven't played in a while, maybe I'll play it once. But yeah, out of those maps, really enjoy that one. Those two. So really digging the map selection. Oh, I forgot about Satellite. Satellite's pretty good map too. I thoroughly enjoyed that one a lot. But man, definitely shaping up to be a pretty worthy Call of Duty for sure. At least from a multiplayer standpoint. Um yeah, time to kills seem to be a little bit more gracious than Modern Warfare, which is not necessarily good or bad. Just different. Just felt different. That's it. But outside of that, I don't know. All in all, thoroughly enjoyed it though. I'm actually looking forward to the full game now. At least that alpha did not put in the best light, but beta's definitely made up for it. Also, of course, if you were catch my stream, played some of that good old RE Outbreak, and man, I just realized how much I missed that game. Had a pretty great time playing. Man, I mean, I don't know what's already be said about Outbreak. That's already been said, but yeah, man, that game is just good, just good. Just a fortunate game that was just ahead of its time, from a technology standpoint. Like right when that game came out, I vividly remember like broadband was really starting to make its way into people's homes. It wasn't as, you know, essential as it more or less is now, but um yeah, man, it kind of frustrating when I think about it. To like, if this game came out at least like maybe like 2, 3, 5 years later, I think this game would have took off like crazy. I really think, um, which is just depressing when I think about it because it's such a good game and like a lot of heart and soul went into it. You could totally tell when you play it. Just the creativity, the thoughtfulness, and all the characters, and the diversity of the characters, and the characteristics of the characters, and like how certain characters can potentially complement other characters. It's just an insane amount of depth in this game. It really is. Um, it's just unfortunate that just went on the wayside. But I'm very thankful again for the tremendous fan community that made the fan service for this game to be able to relive the great memories of playing this game again, which has been fucking great, man. Jeez, this on top of Metal Gear Online 2 has just been I've just been a happy fucking camper, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I've just been very grateful, just to play these games again because I played the hell out of them when they were a thing, and I luckily had the opportunity and luxury of playing them online. Um, ah, it hurts, man. It hurts that this game just fell on the wayside. Hopefully, maybe eventually we might get a remaster remake, but I don't know. I mean, which is good and bad, but the fact that it's been like 6 years since the fan service has been up, and like Capcom hasn't done a takedown notice or anything, which generally is a big indication that the game will be getting re-released or ported or whatever, since they don't, they generally don't want to condone stuff like that, more or less. But um, good or bad, it's still yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, man. But either way, I'm thankful. I technically am playing a remastered version of Outbreak with the awesome emulation settings with PCS X2, where I can fucking play this game in 4K 60 FPS. Well, technically it's more so 30 FPS, but either way, 4K and increased resolution. Oh, it's great. Probably more than likely plan to play some more of that this weekend, because I can't get enough. And it is October, so I mean, 'tis the season. Of course, some Among Us. I feel like that's self-explanatory, Haven't played it as much as a couple other times, but still pretty fun, still pretty interesting. Ghost of Tsushima. So actually, with some friends played the multiplayer. Pretty dope, pretty cool. I'm not sure I see myself wanting to play it currently after playing it. I guess maybe the raids. I don't know. I might give it another shot, but it is from what I played, it was fun. But I don't know, not fun enough where I'm like, I gotta keep playing this. I want to keep playing it. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe the mindset I was in or whatever, but I don't know. I may give it maybe when the raids come out, but then again, I probably should get ready for the raids if I want to play the raids because they're super high level. It's pretty good from what I played. Um, Nothing that like I don't know made me freak out or like this is the best thing ever, but it's pretty good, pretty good. Not like go out of my way crazy, like I have to play this all day every day, but pretty good. I enjoy my time with it that I did play. I played like some co-op with a friend as well as some survival, which you can play with more people. But yeah, that's pretty much the best way to explain it. It was fine. I don't know. It didn't really, I guess grab me like a lot of other people. It felt like it did, but yeah. And of course, man, hardcore played that Modern Warfare multiplayer. Um, the event, the Halloween event dropped this week. I played like one match of the zombie apocalypse mode, which is essentially the one zombies mode, but a little bit more realized. Where pretty much it's basically Warzone, but when you get killed, you don't go to the gulag, but you turn into a zombie. You have a couple of zombie moves, like you can throw a gas grenade, and there was some other move, but generally it seemed like it may be balanced, but hard to say. But player characters, I think they have more headshot damage than other, than normal for the zombies. So that's a thing. But I don't know. Outside of that, it was fine. I did enjoy more the multiplayer aspect where they had this Halloween playlist where pretty much every game is a night mode where you have to. Well, I guess it's optional, but you play with the night vision goggles on, and like when you're aiming, you have to aim with laser sights. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool aspect when you're collecting like dog tags and stuff. Like in some of the most like kill confirmed and stuff, you actually collect skulls instead of tags. For ground war or like I think essentially any um like capture the flag, not capture the flag, but domination type mode. Like there's this weird creepy skeleton or scarecrow that like follows your literally follows you from a view standpoint. So like if you go in circles, it'll literally slide around and follow you in circles, which is fucking creepy, but Halloween, And I think when you get your kill streaks, so if you get like three, like each subsequent streak, you increase you get a bigger skull or head, Halloween related head, which is kind of cool. Like I think a pumpkin head, and then it goes from there. Um, so thoroughly enjoying it. Still grinding my rank progression for officer challenges. At least that's been my focus. Um, but eventually I'll probably dabble more into the Halloween events, see how they really are. We'll see. Then jumping back to the 3090, yeah, I guess really Call of Duty is the only one I really double mess with. GTA a little bit. Felt like it brought GTA GTA brought the 3090 to its knees to some extent, but then again, I maxed literally every setting out, so maybe some tweaking I need to do there to get that like optimal. Might look up what other people are doing with their setups as well, but yeah, could be a CPU bottleneck maybe as well. I don't know, but all in all, very thankful. Uh, GPU works at least. Not broken because that would be sucky. Got this rare ass card and um doesn't even work. That would be irritating. Um, yeah, my motherboard does this weird beeping noise where it seems like it's not figuring out the memory, but it actually is. So that's kind of the only weird caveat after installing it and getting everything set up and going. But yeah, outside of that, that's pretty much been it gaming wise. We'll move into media. Slam Dunk. So I actually been watching this throughout the week. I actually picked this back up. Was kind of dormant for a little bit, but I'm actually starting to dig it a bit more now. It's starting to get its hooks in me. It's some of the episodes are starting to be a little bit more diverse. Isn't at least haven't run into that annoying Dragon Ball Z thing where, one literally like 2 minutes is spanned across like 5 episodes. It felt like with the one basketball arc, basketball scrimmage arc they had that I finished, and pretty interesting though. Some of the spins and takes they have on it. But I am thoroughly enjoying it now. I'm actually I never realized how much I laughed at the show, but like just the dumbness of it just made me fucking just just freaking laugh left and right in terms of just the stupidness of Sakuragi and his dynamics, mainly his dynamics, because he's so fucking, I think, at least from my impression of Goku, he feels very similar to Goku in a lot of ways, where he's just like arrogant, cocky, but I think at least in Sakuragi's case, he can't necessarily back it up all the way. He's still a novice basketball player, but he's trying to act like he's like, the best player ever, which is a kind of cool mindset, admirable mindset to have, where you're like just brazenly cocky, but can't necessarily back it up, but hopefully hope that it backs you up at some point. So yeah. But yeah, I have to say I am thoroughly enjoying picking up Slam Dunk. It was starting to wane on me a bit, but at least finishing this scrimmage arc, it definitely piqued my interest back now. So definitely plan to watch a little bit more of that. Also, one cool YouTube video I checked out this week, I just wanted to recommend, was this Shinji Mikami interview. This is from the channel Archipel. It's pretty cool. So for the pretty big Resident Evil fans out there, if you exist, I'm pretty sure you do. Pretty much a very insightful background on the history of Shinji Mikami, the legend, the myth. Who created a lot of my favorite games of all time. Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 1 remake. I think he produced Resident Evil 2, but he didn't direct it. But he talked about that, how he kind of butt heads with Hideki Kamiya, who's now with Platinum. Made some of the iconic series like Bayonetta and Wonderful 101 and stuff like that. So Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Revengeance. But it was very fascinating. As somebody who's a big fan of Resident Evil, just trying to get a understanding of what makes some of these dope, some of my favorite like developers tick, developers behind my favorite games tick, and what kind of the background and backstory of how some of these games actually came to be is just fucking fascinating to me as hell, man. So definitely recommend it. Pretty insightful to kind of get his backstory, like how he even got into Capcom, and like how it was a mistake, and what else did he touch on? Oh yeah, he something that sparked a conversation in the Reset Era thread that people were talking about was the fact that actually which is pretty fascinating in and of itself, was that he talked about Resident Evil 1 and how the static camera angles were actually a mistake. Well, not a mistake, but he said it was like a workaround rather than an intention. And that, like, when people praise him for fixed static camera angles, that it actually is embarrassing to him that that's actually wasn't an intention. It's just like it was just a limitation and he was just working around it. Which is kind of just weird because it's like actually which a lot of people, you know, discussing it with agreed that actually it actually is a pretty awesome, like artistic choice that actually does help you know, convey a certain mood depending on the, you know, source material of what you're trying to convey. But at least specifically for survival horror, I think it definitely sets a great mood and helps to make things feel a bit more eerie, kind of unsettling, and things like that. So I think he also invalidated tank controls as well, where I think it was kind of roughly in the same boat as the static camera angles, but it's like personally, I definitely see more so on that angle. I totally disagree on the static camera angle, but I mean it's kind of crazy to, you know, more or less disagree with the director creator that originated it. But I mean, that's the thing about art and, you know, media, that, you know, a lot of it is led up to your interpretation and what you perceive. And, you know, really, I think the saying is true, is that perception is reality. So at least in that aspect, I think uh pretty fascinating either way, just to see kind of like just like I never knew that like he's literally embarrassed about like fixed camera angles, and I think to a lesser extent tank controls back in the day. But I mean, the fact that this series has sold so much, specifically Resident Evil remake, is like, come on, Shinji, don't don't. All right, you're great. We love you. All right, you make great, one of the best series ever. So pretty great documentary interview. Things like under 30 minutes ish. Um, highly recommended if you are a fan of Resident Evil, or maybe you're just like game development, interested in game development, which more or less I'm kind of partially interested in, even though I don't see myself pursuing it, but I'm just fascinated to see how games work and how they tick, which is like, you know, kind of a whole thing in of itself too. But yeah, so a very rare recommendation, but I do recommend it. I thoroughly enjoyed it myself, so I think maybe you might possibly too. Yeah. And with all that said and done, I think that concludes episode 78 of Switches Sites. If you did enjoy the show, feel free to like, rate, and subscribe on your various podcasting platforms. Greatly appreciate it. If you want to catch me live on Twitch, recording live, you can catch me on Twitch TV/aswitch. If you want to do something else, which I cannot remember. Oh, if you want to catch my vids on YouTube where I upload the archives of these podcasts as well. You can catch me on youtube.com/aswitch as well. If you have any questions like to submit to the show, feel free to submit them at aswitchtv@gmail.com. And I think that may be it. Trying to think if there's anything else. Is there anything else? Maybe there isn't. I don't know. Trying to think. No, I think that's pretty much it. We're pretty close to new next gen console launches. I'm hyped. Are you? I don't know. Maybe you're not, but that's something. But you know, yeah. Either way, I'm going on too long. Till next time, guys. Don't cough. Don't touch people that don't want to be touched. Get your game on. Aw, yeah.
Nobody's safe.